Hey everyone, Frank from Rocky Mountain Cruise here. I just want to apologize that we haven't put anything out in a while. There's been a lot going on, as you'll see in this video that I'm about to show you here. I am back in Utah right now, but I just want you to take a look at this. This shows kind of where I've come from and stuff, and shows you some of the areas up in Crestline and Lake Arrowhead that I've been when I was in high school. So I really hope you enjoy this, alright? We'll talk to you guys soon. Hey Rocky Mountain Cruise. So, Frank Sr. here. So I'm coming to you with a heavy heart. At 1:54 a.m. this morning, my dad, Anthony Padilla, passed away. So I am at the Salt Lake Airport now. I'm heading to California. I'm going to go be with my family. I will keep you guys updated and let you know what's going on. But I just wanted to say hi to everybody and let you know what was happening right now. And that's where I'm headed now. So I'll kind of film this journey as I go. I love you guys. Please be safe. Make sure you're wearing masks. Make sure you're washing your hands. This COVID thing is real. Alrighty, so I made it through the security part. That was pretty painless. Now I'm just heading out to my gate. See how this flight goes. It's been about getting used to this mask, I apologize. It's been about 15 years since I flew. I took a trip out here before I moved out. And so yeah. Right now I'm just walking to the terminal. And try not to film anybody, just, you know, for their own privacy. But yeah, I've been here once before when I flew out here, and then I flew back home. I'm heading out now. My flight though doesn't leave till about 9:30. It's a little after 6:30. I'm a slight bit early, but I wanted to make sure I got through security and make sure everything went smooth. So now we're just heading down. I'll get some rest. Maybe I'll go get something to eat or drink as soon as something opens. We'll go from there. Alright everybody. Talk to you guys here in a minute. Hey everyone. Frank Sr. from Rocky Mountain Cruise here. So just kind of wanted to take you back to the beginning of my journey here in California. Yes, I am in California. As you know from the clip that I put in the beginning here, my father passed away from COVID-19. It's been a pretty rough time for me, so I apologize that I haven't gotten anything out. But I wanted to show you where we're from. Now, mind you, I wasn't born here, but I did come here in my high school years. And the reason why I chose this to be the beginning is because this was where my dad was happy. This is where my dad decided he wanted to be the rest of his life, and he was. So we are in a town called Cedar Pines Park. This is where we first moved. Now behind me there's a building here. It's called the Hayloft. Now this place was originally the post office, general store, Joe's place, you know, and now it's a private residence, so we're not going to disturb them. But this was where Cedar Pines Park began. And the thing about kind of the history of Cedar Pines Park is it was a stop for miners. Now, a big thing about it, people describe Cedar Pines Park as the last frontier, and it really is. It's just beautiful here. you're pretty secluded. There's not a whole lot. Let me show you this. This here is Cedar Park Mutual Water Company, and the San Bernardino County Fire Department here, this building. Now, it's not a manned building, so it's one of those backup when they have a fire. They do have other departments here. There's a Veterans of Foreign Wars building over here as well. Now, that's key because my dad was a Vietnam veteran. He was he went into the military kicking scream because he's a full-on hippie. My dad's a proud activist when it came to that. He was a hippie. But he was also very proud to serve his country. And he felt you were doing your civic duty by making sure that you voted and things like that. So, now I'm going to take you back to where we first moved. There's some traffic going by, so it's getting a little loud. I apologize. But I'm going to take you back to where we first moved and show you that. And we're going to go from there, okay? Alright, everyone. So, let's go take a look at where we first lived. Alright, everyone. So, here we are in the area that I used to live in Cedar Pines Park. This is one of the first places we lived. Now, the road we lived on was called Burnt Mill Canyon Road. Now, where I am is actually where we used to catch a bus at school, where the car's parked. That's where we used to catch our bus. We would walk up this hill, and this is where we'd meet all the kids right here. And this is the bus stop. All the kids come up here that live in this area, catch a bus for any of the schools, from elementary through high school. Now here's the street sign of where I used to live. Burnt Mill Canyon Road. And this here, well, this is the street. That's the hill. And we're going to walk down that hill and check it out. So we're going to take a walk. And we're going to walk down this hill. Now, this is actually kind of a steep hill. It doesn't look like it on camera. It doesn't do it really justice, but yeah, I used to walk down this hill all the time. Now, let me take you back on memory lane. The house here that we're passing with the dog who's barking at me, that was the house of the Burgess family. They were good friends of ours. The father, Mike, he worked with my dad at the high school and at a place called Santa's Village. And he got me a job there, and I worked there for like a day. I hated that job. But that's neither here nor there. They were good people. But their daughter and my sister were really good friends. We all became friends. I actually worked with their son Tommy when I worked at the gas station with my dad. That's definitely something we'll talk about a little bit more here in a little bit. So here we are. And this is where our house used to be. They've done some work to it because where this wall is right here, that used to be exposed dirt. And I know it was exposed because that was where I injured my knee. We had come up here to see the house on the final tour before we moved in, one of those final check-ins. And I was down here being a dumb teenager, and I decided to kick. And yeah, I kicked and hyperextended my knee right in the mud. That was not smart. But really funny story about this too is when we moved here, the neighbors who were behind us was a good friend of mine named Aaron, and he was telling me that winters aren't very heavy here, we haven't had big snow, and the very first winter we were up here, we got more snow than they'd had in like 50 years. Matter of fact, our entire driveway was just covered. We had a white Suzuki Swift, and it was just buried. Like, we couldn't find it. We had to dig and find out where the car was. It was that buried. And it was hilarious because we're up here, and My sister's at the furthest end of the property just looking out over the snow, and she's just in awe. And in Calvin and Hobbes fashion, if any of you know what that is, what that reference is, I come out of nowhere, tackle my sister, bury her head in snow, jump up and run away. It was the funniest thing I'd ever done. My poor sister Kim was tortured by me when we were kids with that kind of stuff because, well, what are big brothers for, right? We also had a dog, a big dog named Max, a Bouvier. Really big, beautiful dog. One day he decided to come running down the driveway, and I'm at the bottom and he's running to me, but we had him on a chain because Max had a tendency to take off. He liked to run around. And with leash laws, we didn't have a fence, so we had to leash him when we had him in the yard. He broke the chain and kept running right past me, up this hill, and then he took off down one of the side roads. I chased him for about 2 miles. Yes, 2 miles. Now that's important to know, because about, I'd say a quarter of the way back, Max decided he didn't want to walk anymore and didn't want to run. He was tired, so he laid down. Max was a little over a 100-pound dog. He was a big boy. I had to scoop him up on my shoulders in a fireman's carry and walk him the rest of the way, back this way, down the hill, and up into my yard. Needless to say, I was not a happy camper. The dog was lucky I loved him. I love dogs because if I didn't love him, I would have just let him go. I'm like, forget it, you don't want to be here, bye. But no, I loved him too much. He was a great dog. Another funny story. Coming up this hill. We were coming up this hill. And it was winter. Actually, we weren't coming up, we were coming home. And it was pretty icy and snowy here on this hill. Well, my dad had told my mom, don't touch your brakes, just take gravity and it'll take you right up our driveway. Well, my mom gets to the edge, and what does she do? She hits the brakes. The car's, oops, sorry, we got a tow truck backing up. I'm getting out of his way. So, like I said, she hits the brakes right about here, which she shouldn't have done. And she's going down the hill right here and skids right up into a snowbank. Now, in the car was my brother, me, and my dog. My dog again, big, huge dog. One of the neighbors was just being neighborly and said, hey, let me come help you. My mom's like, don't come near the car, the dog will freak out. He goes, no, I'm good with dogs. He gets to the car. My dog tried to eat him. Guy backs off. Well, it took my dad and me about 2 hours to shovel out because my mom got jammed in pretty good. But we got it shoveled out. And we got the car moved, which took some time, but we were able to get at least to the bottom of the driveway where we kept it really until snowplows came through and dropped de-icer and stuff, because it was pretty bad. But it's funny because being up here, even when I was in high school, always felt like home. I mean, I grew up down in the city. I was born in Norwalk, California, and grew up down in La Mirada, Orange County. You know, we were in Anaheim. We moved a lot. Now, that's why I can't show you everywhere I lived up here, because we moved up here quite a bit. My mom got an itch to move about once a year. And so we did. We moved a lot. Well, same thing when we were up here. We moved probably once or twice a year because my mom would get the itch. We didn't move off the mountain though. We stayed on the mountain. We moved from here in Cedar Pines. We moved down into Crestline. We moved out to Lake Arrowhead. We kind of bounced around quite a bit. So the next stop I'm going to show you is where my dad worked for many, many years, and he absolutely loved working there. It's called Valley of Enchantment School. So we're going to head there now. Okay? So here we go. Alrighty. So here we are at VOE school, Valley of Enchantment School. It's the elementary school where my dad worked as a custodian for a lot of years. Now, here he had a lot of great memories, and he worked as a custodian for the school district for about 30 years. You can see the school here behind me. It's closed now, so I can't really get in and give you a tour, but I can kind of show you a little bit of it. He loved being here. He loved the students. He loved working for this school. Now, they used to have this thing called an airband show, which is kind of like a variety show or a talent show that teachers would put on for the students, and then they put on for the parents. Well, the first time they did it, one of the first ones, one of the things they were going to do was squirt the principal with like one of those super soakers. And so when they did the school one earlier in the day, they pumped it up just a little bit, and when they shot it, it just squirted them with a little bit of water, and it was pretty funny. Well, mind you, the principal at the time was a friend of my dad's named Brian Shaw. Great man. Great man. Well, that night when my dad, when we went to do the show that night to go watch it, well, my dad had gotten a hold of the super soaker, and he pumped it and pumped it and pumped it and pumped it. He pumped it up so much that it was like just packed. You couldn't do anymore. And when the teacher had got it and went to do the squirt like she did in the first one, it blasted him, just soaked him with water in front of everybody. And the teacher had this shocked look on her face. She couldn't believe it. And the first thing the principal did was look right at my dad, because he knew the prankster that my dad was, he was the one who did that. It was pretty funny, and a lot of the teachers all still remember that one. And then the teacher told me a story of how she got my dad back, you know, because he used to prank her all the time. And they get bats in here once in a while. And she called my dad to her room saying, "I think there's a bat in here," and she's freaking out. But she tied this paper weird way with string and made it look like a bat, especially in the dark. And it put it on her counter and tied a string to it. And when my dad got on his hands and knees to look for it, she yanked the string and it came right at him. And he jumped up and screamed and ran at her. And she was laughing so hard. My dad just looked at her and goes, "You got me, but I'll get you back." And that's the thing about my dad, is he did. You didn't prank my dad because he got you back. He knew how to prank. And he, at the end of the year, they do this thing where they, you know, run the water for the kids because it's so hot, and they were doing that, and she was like, "No, I don't want to get wet." And she had gone around the corner to do something. My dad was standing there with the water hose and just blasted her. She walked out of there looking like a wet rat. He got her back pretty good. And it's funny because he held on to that for the whole year planning it. And that's the thing, you think you get away, but nope. He always got you back. But at the same time, he loved it. He loved being here. He loved the staff. He loved the students. You know, kids came to him, and sometimes teachers wouldn't send kids to the principal. They'd send them to my dad, because they were more afraid to disappoint my dad than they were the principal, because he'd become such a big part of the lives here. And his loss is a huge, huge loss to this community, because everybody here loved him. And he loved this school. He loved working for this school. He started working at the high school, which is where I went when we came up here. And he, you know, started there, and after I graduated, he transferred here. He was here when my brothers and sisters were here. He was working here when they were in junior high and high school, but he loved what he did, you know. and he loved the people he did it for. He loved working with the school district. He was so passionate. He was part of the union. He even became the president of the union, which he was so proud of. I just can't say enough about him. He did such a great job, and I pray that I'm half the man, half the father he ever was, because he taught me so much and made me who I am. So, you know, he is truly my hero, and I miss him every single day, and I'm thankful for everything he ever taught me and what he made me. So here's this school. Now we're going to go check out some more areas. We'll stop by, so let's head on out. There's lots more to see, okay? Alright, so here we are on the back side of the high school. Sorry, the sun's glaring in my eyes. But this is where the football field is, the baseball field, all, you know, and also over behind me here, turn around, is our field house. This is where was, well, our sports locker room. Baseball, football, you know, that was our locker room. That's where we kept our stuff, because the other locker room is actually all the way down there. So for the football players, that'd be one heck of a walk. And the baseball players, because our fields were right out here. So, let me show you the football. Now, the graphic arts class was one that I enjoyed a lot. Papa Hubbard was our teacher, and he was a great guy. He was hilarious, and the only thing you had to do in his class to not fail was be smart, have common sense, don't do stupid things. When you would do stupid things, you know, like they say, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Well, thing about graphic arts, we worked with a lot of machines that could crush fingers, cut off fingers, so you didn't do stupid stuff in there. You were taught that right from the beginning. But this is the field house that's right behind me here. See if we can get a good view of it with the camera. Just through the fence there, you can see it. And if you look over on this side, down over that way, that's the baseball field. So, there's a lot of good memories here. There's also some tough memories. I played football, you know, 3 out of the 4 years here, and 1 year down at Valley View High School in Moreno Valley. Now, when I played for Valley View as a freshman, we were undefeated. We were a team that couldn't be beat. And, no, I take that back. We did have one loss. I remember that loss because we got too cocky and we lost it, and our coaches were not happy, and we refocused after that one, and we didn't lose again. Well, I came up here, and this was a normal football team. This was a team who played hard, struggled, had their ups, had their downs, but they played well. Well, one game, we were here playing our rivals, and just checking all these areas. We were playing our rivals, Big Bear, and I remember one thing about Big Bear, that they had this running back. His name was Robbie Gump. He was a big boy, but then again, a lot of people were big to me. I was 5'7" and maybe 120, 130 pounds, so I wasn't a big kid myself. But I was a quarterback and I was a free safety. Well, that game I was playing free safety. And that was one hell of a game for me. I mean, I poured my heart and soul into that game because it was a rival. I always poured my heart and soul into a game anyway, but that game we played hard. And as a free safety, hitting a running back is not something you do very much. But I did that game. I hit that boy and hit that boy. Me and him just battered each other the entire game. And I was just covered in mud and blood. I mean, it was one hell of a game, and we lost that game. It was a heartbreaker. And I came out of my team room over here. Just right there. And that walk area right there, that's where I saw my dad. He's the first person I saw when I walked out of that door. and I broke down. I broke down so bad I just started crying, and all I could do was apologize and tell him how sorry I was and that I played my hardest. And he held me and he told me it was okay, and he told me I played my hardest and I had nothing to be ashamed of. And I broke down so bad I ended up hyperventilating. But I remember my dad just holding me and telling me, "It's okay, son. As long as you gave it everything you had, you left it all on the field." And that's what I did. And that's a lot of how I live my life. I mean, when I'm doing something, I throw everything I have into it because to me that's worth it. You know, you leave it all on the field, and that's what I do, and that's how I raise my son. You're going to do something, you throw everything you have into it, because otherwise it's not worth doing it. But there's so many memories on this field and out on that baseball field. And my dad, you know, he worked at this high school and he was a custodian at night, and he did it because he wanted to make sure he was able to see as many of my games as possible. You know, he was here for me, and even though he worked, he still made it to my games, and he made it to my wrestling matches and my baseball games. That's the other thing, wrestling tunnel is way down over there. Down over back in that area. And that's high school where the other locker rooms are. There's an area you come out to that entrance and then down, and it's called the tunnel. And originally it was a storehouse, like just a storeroom. And our wrestling coach at the time, Coach Beresford, who's no longer coach here anymore, but he coached here for so long. Well, when he started the program, he emptied it out, and that's what he built, and they called it the tunnel. So that's where we were. It's more like a dungeon than a tunnel. But my dad was here for my wrestling matches and my wrestling tournaments, and you know, he did everything he could to be there for me, and it was a lot of fun, and that's why there's so many memories here at this school. And it's just beautiful, and it's really sad right now because it's closed down, and these seniors didn't get a chance to graduate right here at this school the way that I did. You know, and just see the absolute beauty. And the funny thing is, as a kid, you don't really recognize what you have until it's gone. When you graduate and you leave, you don't realize all the memories you made here until it's gone. So here is, see if we can see the baseball field from here. We're going to zoom. Try to see if we can't see a baseball field over there. It's a beautiful field. I enjoyed playing on that field as well. So that is the high school. Now, mind you, when my dad was up here, he at one point worked 3 jobs. He was a custodian here at the high school. He was also a custodian. He did the nighttime cleaning at, well, the graveyard cleaning over at McDonald's in Lake Arrowhead Village. I'm going to take you by there and just kind of show you where that is. And then he also worked at a gas station up here, Chevron. And that's where I worked too. He worked the graveyard, I worked the swing, so you know, I would hand it off to him, but you know, he was there, so he worked 3 jobs at one point. Man was a hard worker, and that's kind of where I get my work ethic from. So anyway, let's go check out Arrowhead Village, all right? Alrighty, everyone, so here we are. We're out in front of Rim of the World High School. We're at the main part of it here, the main front entrance. Now behind me is Rim of the World Highway. Now the reason this is called Rim of the World Highway is you can see that rock setting right there. Now that highway runs literally right along the edge of the mountain. And so you go off of that, if you pass the railing that's there, that's a big drop, about 100 feet straight down, or more. Now behind me here is the high school. And this, where I'm standing is the driveway heading out. So when it got foggy here, it's pretty scary because the fog here isn't just regular fog, it is a cloud. So a lot of times you can't even see the front end of your car, it is so thick. But this is the high school. I'm going to show you the sign there. Rim of the World High School. Let's zoom in on it. Right there. That's Rim of the World High. You see the front end of it, the flag poles. Now down over by where those wind turbines are, there's a back driveway that goes down, and it goes down into like where the fields are and stuff. The back field house where I showed you the football field, everything. That's where all that is. So that's all down behind there. Now, coming to school here was, when I was going, I thought it was quite boring because I'm a teenager, I got nothing to do. Well, my dad always used to tell me only boring people get bored. I wanted to make my life fun, so I enjoyed playing sports. And the best thing about, sorry, a lot of traffic going by. Best thing about sports was that it kept me active, but it also kept me going to school because I had to keep up my grade average in order to play. So I worked pretty hard at that, and I loved playing sports. I loved being out there. But I also loved being at this school because they really do care about you. They tried hard. My counselor, Mama Crabtree, used to take such good care of me. And it's funny because she said when she first met me and she saw me, she goes, "Oh great, here comes one of those bottom of the hill gangbangers," because I had the long hair, I had, my full-on mustache at, I was 15, 16 when I first came here. I did not have a really good look on my face. I was not smiling like I do now. Because when I transferred up here, I transferred from my other school, Valley View High School, and I really loved what I was doing down there. I loved playing for the teams I played for down there. The football team, we were amazingly dominant. I tried out for the baseball team and I'd made the baseball team, but we moved up in the middle of the season, so I couldn't play. So it was really, really hard for me when I first moved up here. Now, I became a part of this community, it became a part of me, and I absolutely love it. And my dad, and my mom, and my brother, and my sisters, we all became such a huge part of this community. And my dad stayed up here even after all of his kids moved away because he loved being up here. He loved this community, and he loved working for this school district, and he loved being right here at Rim of the World High School and at Halyvin Chapman School, where he worked, almost his entire career. So he really did enjoy it. I wanted to show you some of the things here that he's been through. I wish I could take you inside on a tour, but the school being closed right now with the pandemic makes that a little difficult. But when we get a chance, I'm going to do that, okay? So we're going to head down. We're going to look at some more stuff. I'll see you guys here in just a few. Alright, so here we are at Lake Arrowhead Village. It's a little bit windy here today, a bit breezy, so I might get some wind in this. I apologize. But hopefully you can hear me. This is the McDonald's he used to work at. So he would come to leave the high school, he would come here, and a couple nights a week he'd work over here at this McDonald's. And this is where he would work at night. He'd come here, work graveyards, and he would clean it up. Now, everything he did, there was always a purpose to helping his family. And also in turn, kind of helping Rim High School. I remember one year we were having a pancake breakfast for the high school, for the football team. We did a big thing on it. And my dad got McDonald's to donate pancake mix and sausage and syrup and butter and the utensils and stuff. And it was the coolest thing. And we had this really cool pancake breakfast go on. And a lot of it was donated by McDonald's here. And my dad was able to get them to do that. Now, Lake Arrowhead Village is a pretty beautiful place to go. I just wanted to show you the lake. Sorry about the wind. But I'll show you the lake here. We're going to turn this around and let you see this. So here is the lake. We got a boat out there today. Now, there's actually quite a few people here today. But it's a beautiful Saturday, so that's definitely expected. Take a look. We got a duck friend here swimming. But you can see how clear and beautiful the water is. Now, the lake here is quite huge. It's beautiful. You even have a boat that'll give you a tour. And as you can see, there's people here. So this is also one of the places I would come. You know, it's a fun place. It's beautiful. Just to hang out when I was a kid, teenager. But a lot of times I actually more hung out in Crestline at Lake Gregory because that's where we were from. We did live a short time in Lake Arrowhead here, actually on the other side of the lake over there. And that's where we were. But I just wanted to bring you here, let you check it out. So now we're going to head to another spot and we'll see how much you like it. Alright, here we go. Alright everybody, so here I am at Lake Gregory. I'm actually in the San Moritz area of Lake Gregory. The other main part is actually pretty packed. It's actually quite packed here too. But as you can see behind me, there's this grass area. Actually, it used to be a baseball field out here. It's where I spent a lot of times coaching and umpiring, especially when my brother and my sister played when they were younger. But the San Moritz Lodge is back behind me over here. And that's a pretty fun place too, but that's, you know, why we had the field out here. And the lake back over there, another place you can go fishing and swimming and whatnot. So it's a pretty fun place. Again, spent a lot of time here when I was younger. So I wanted to show you guys this area. It's a very beautiful, beautiful day and a beautiful spot to be in. So what I'm going to do is take my head out of this, show you what this looks like so you can get a view of it. And then we're going to go from there, okay? So here we go. You can see it's just absolutely beautiful today. There are quite a bit of people out here today. And like I said, the other side of the lake where is the main part where I would go, which is actually down over that way. That part was pretty packed today, so I didn't want to get in people's way or bother anybody, so that's why I went ahead and came out to this back side of the lake. As you can see, it's such a huge field here that you can fly your kite on. Now the baseball field used to be just right down over here, and they took that down, but what they did is they moved it to the school, which is up this road a little bit, and there's a road right back here, and the school's right up on this side of the road, and they moved that baseball field over there. So, but this is such a beautiful area. Alright, so here I am. I'm at the main part of the lake here. This is Lake Gregory. This is the part where I would come as a kid and hang out, well, really as a teenager. And they had volleyball courts back over here. And I would go play volleyball with my friends, swim. They had paddleboard rentals. They had those paddle bikes. As you can see, pretty good sized lake. There's people out here fishing. I came by again just to check it out, see if there are people. It looks like a lot of people have left. So I thought this would be a good spot for me to pop in and kind of put a close to this. So I want to thank you guys for coming on this little journey with me. It's definitely been an emotional couple of weeks here. As I said in the beginning, with my father passing, it's been a lot. There's been a lot going on, but I've also had some really wonderful, wonderful people reaching out to me, and I just want to let you all know that I love you and thank you all for it. So make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, that helps a lot, okay? Like, subscribe, leave some comments, let me know if there's more you want to see. If you have questions about where I've been, I would love to hear them. Now, right now I don't have my son out here, but I want to congratulate him. He got some amazing news the other day. He received his cap and a sign that goes on the yard saying he's graduating his 8th grade graduation. So Frank Jr., congratulations. Dad is so proud of you, son. You've done amazing work, and I know there's just more to come. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I love you all. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment for me, alright? Take care, stay safe.